Hey there, Pastor Evan here. Glad I get to speak with y'all again. And today we're talking about when you want to give up. Last week I talked about what is it you want, or what do you want? Really, what does God want for you, and how are you going to pursue that? And so, on days where things are going well, you can see that vision of where God's leading you, just like Nehemiah had the vision to rebuild the wall. But there's times where it gets hard. Right now, I'm kind of in that hard season. I'm still on my weight loss journey, and right now I feel like I've been stuck here for months, and I've been trying to work towards setting those healthy habits and achievable goals, but it just seems like I keep on getting stuck in a rut, and it gets frustrating. And at times I just want to give up, like today, where I just felt like, why bother? And there's days where you wake up and you feel, why bother to lots of things. Woke up feeling sick today, and it's really difficult to work. Been feeling different feelings of lethargy and depression lately, and sometimes it's just hard to keep pushing forward when you get into seasons like that. And so today, as we talk about what happens when you want to give up, I can look at the story of Nehemiah as we're talking about how he helped the Israelites accomplish that um, difficult goal of rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem. And if you get into Nehemiah 2, he talks about, he tells the Israelites in verse 17, "Then I said to them, you see the trouble we are in. Jerusalem lies in ruins, and its gates have been burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace." Now, he saw the problems that they were facing, and he was discouraged. He mourned, as we read before in chapter 1. But he also knew that he needed to move forward and take action. And when he had enemies that tried to mock and ridicule him, and they asked, "What is it that you are doing?" He said, "I answered them by saying, the God of heaven will give us success." And so that's a great reminder to us that as we're trying to go through life, and there's times where we just want to give up, we can remember that if we truly believe that this is what God wants for us, that He is the God of heaven, and He will give us success. That it's not just our own little goals that we're trying to achieve, but it's us trying to pursue His will. And so when we get stuck in a rut and feel discouraged, we can remember that the same God who has led us and set us on this adventure is the same God who is with us in the darker days as well. And so not only do we have God with us, we also have stories of people who've gone through difficult times before us as well. I love the history of the church and the stories of believers in different countries through different times. If you want to ask me about some people sometime, I can tell you all sorts of different stories and give you a book or two. But I'm just encouraged by their witness and their example, because they weren't perfect, but they were faithful, and God was able to lead them and work through them. And that reminds me that He can do the same for me. If you read through Hebrews 11, and then it goes into Hebrews 12, and it says, "Since we are surrounded by this great cloud of witnesses." And so in chapter 11, it talks about all these heroes of the faith who came before us. And so Nehemiah is one of those heroes, and there's plenty of others. But ultimately, the author of Hebrews says, "Let us keep our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith." So we have godly examples that have gone before us. We have God with us, but we also have the people that are with us right now. And so if you look at Nehemiah, he talks about all these specific people that helped build the wall. You see, it wasn't just him that finished the work. He had the vision, and he had the plans, but ultimately it was the people that did the work. As we teach in Extreme Team in our 5th grade discipleship program, the first 2 steps of leadership from Nehemiah are pray and plan. and then it's delegate, and it's solve problems. And so he delegated so much of this work, and even when there was problems that came up, he didn't face them by himself, but he called on the people to stand up against their enemies and to work hard. And it says that when our enemies heard that we were aware of their plot to stop the work, and that God had frustrated it, we all returned to the wall, each to our own work. You see, something I have to remind myself as I get overwhelmed by all the things that I have to do or things that are on my plate is that I don't have to do it all. There's times where I can ask others for help, and I can rely on others to do things. There's no way we'd have children's ministry at CBC if it wasn't for the wonderful volunteers who give their time every week to serve our kids. And so there's people that God has placed in our lives to help us accomplish His work. And as we go through those tough times, we have to remember to turn to them, to rely on them, to ask for help when we need it. Because that is one of the ways that God does give us success through His people, through His body, through the church. So my encouragement to you today is to reach out to someone that loves you and let them know how you're doing, and ask for help if you need help, or maybe encourage them as well in what they're trying to pursue. Keep your eyes on where God is leading you, and keep your eyes on Jesus, and remember that He is with you every step of the way. I'll talk to y'all later.